I've got a Quacking keyboard to show you today. It's a full-size Quacking keyboard with a Quacking numpad and loads of Quacking RGB. The Ducky 1.3 Pro NASCAR line. Let's see how Quacking good it is. Hi guys, I'm Matt and welcome to Kit Guru. So this is the latest keyboard from Ducky to be sent over to me for review, following on from the 1.3 that I looked at a few years ago. This time around we're looking at a full-size design with up to 8000 Hz polling, full south-facing RGB, Cherry MX2A switches, triple shot PBT keycaps and what Ducky call Quack mechanics, which I'll cover later on. The price, this full-size model at full recommended retail price is 150 quid. But it's currently on sale, costing 105 quid from OC UK. It's also available in a 60% layout, which will set you back 100 quid at full price or 70 quid at its current sale pricing. Let's have a look at what this board offers in a bit more detail, shall we? The 1.3 Pro comes in a pretty standard box. There's some branding on the front and details on some of the specs on the back. Opening it up, you of course get the keyboard protected by a plastic insert / dust cover and a plastic bag. You'd think a brand named after an animal would ditch the plastic altogether. Think of the Quacking Ducks, Ducky. You also get a few stickers and a safety leaflet, along with some alternative keycaps, including this round one, presumably for the escape key, but there's nothing to stop you sticking it wherever you want on the keyboard. Then they also include a Ducky branded keycap puller, metal pincer style switch removal tool and a braided USB Type-C to A cable for connecting the keyboard. It's wired only, so there's no dongles or extensions or anything like that. The 1.3 Pro NASCAR line is very similar to what we've seen before from Ducky. The case is full plastic top and bottom with a combination of gentle curves and angles around the edges. I like that the face of the keyboard is free from any branding. It keeps the board looking nice and clean. The branding is there though, it's just been restricted to the top edge and the bottom. There's a printed Ducky logo and the model name along the top edge and an embossed Ducky logo and metal plate showing the logo and the serial number and stuff like that on the bottom of the keyboard. The keycaps have a range of colours. I'm not sure if this is where the NASCAR line comes from in this model name. They don't much look like lines in the desert to me though. The majority of the keycaps are dark blue with white legends, which are nice and bold. I like the font choice. They look much better than going with a tacky gamer style font. And then you've got the darker, almost black keycaps, which use orangey, sort of yellowy sort of legends, which does add a bit of flair to the look of the board overall. Out of the box, the board has the yellow Enter keycap pre-installed, but as we saw a minute ago, there is a darker version in the box as well as more of those yellow keycaps if you want to get a bit creative with the colour scheme. The case itself is dark grey, which complements the keycap colour choices pretty well in my opinion. If you're looking for a new chair, then definitely go and check out boolies.co.uk. They offer a whole host of gaming and office chairs that come in a variety of different finishes and different colours. The bottom of the board is pretty simple. There's a channel across the top for routing the cable from that centre positioned USB-C port. Then there are 4 rubber feet in the corners to help keep the board in place when placed flat on a desk. They don't do much good on a wooden surface though, the keyboard slides all over the place. Folding out the adjustable feet improves the stability drastically though, so it's not all bad. Those feet have 2 different angles, giving you 3 different options for typing angle in total when you take putting it flat on a desk into account. That's only in theory though. I personally wouldn't want to use it flat on a desk unless I was sticking it on a desk mat rather than just on the top of my wooden desk. Being an all-plastic keyboard does lead to a bit of flex in the body overall, but it's nothing major, and considering the materials that it's constructed from, it does feel relatively rigid. Total rigidity may sound like what we're aiming for, but having a bit of flex to the body will help the typing feel, so I'm guessing it flexes like that by design. With that being said though, at this 100 to 150 price point, depending if you get it on sale or not, there are keyboards available with full metal cases which feel much more premium and solid while retaining the good typing feel with the use of gaskets and stuff like that. Ducky need to up their game a little bit in future releases in regards to material choice and the overall just premium feel of their keyboards in my opinion. And talking of feel, the 1.3 Pro NASCAR line features Cherry's MX2A mechanical switches. This is Cherry's revamp of their pretty legendary switches that have been around for what seems like forever. Cherry have improved pretty much all aspects of their switches with these. The spring and the bottom housing have both seen their designs changed. You've got choices if you do choose to pick one of these Ducky keyboards up. You can opt for reds, browns, blues or silver speed switches. The model I have here for review has the speed silvers, which have a linear actuation without any bumps or clicks. They've got a pre-travel distance of 1.2mm, requiring a force of 45 centinewtons to activate the switches. They've got a 3-pin design and are hot swappable if you fancy swapping them out for something else, and they come factory lubed and feel pretty good. I wish I could say the same about the stabilisers. They are factory lubed, but I'm guessing the factory was on lube rations when they made this particular unit. There's a very, very small amount of lube on the spacebar stabiliser. The keycaps, they feel really nice on this board. They've got a frosted texture like most PBT keycaps, and they feel great under your fingertips. Ducky described them as triple shot PBT, stating that the legends are encapsulated between 2 other pieces of plastic, but the box describes them as double shot, and they look like double shot to me. Either way, whether they're double or triple shot, they feel good to type on and they feel well made and good quality. Here's a sound test of the 1.3 Pro Nazca line as it comes out of the box, and then with a bit more extra lube added to the spacebar stabiliser. I think it sounds okay. It's nothing special, but it isn't overly offensive. The brittle nature of the PBT plastic keycaps and these new Cherry switches give it a slightly hollow sound. Speaking about the sound leads me nicely to go over what Ducky called Quack mechanics that I mentioned earlier. They describe it like this. At the core of every keyboard are a solid stance, authentic acoustics, balanced tuning and true PBT keys. All of these factors culminate in a durable and highly reliable mechanical keyboard. Focusing in on the acoustics bit of that text, inside the 1.3 Pro, Ducky includes several materials to aid with dampening the sound and improving the typing feel. There's a layer of pour-on film to aid with shock absorption, and what Ducky call a webby mat, which aims to nullify any imperfections in keycap moulding and provide a consistent feel across the whole of the board.
As a world-leading manufacturer, CyberPower PC UK expertly builds each PC with the largest range of parts available in the UK. We handle all your packages with care and ship them directly to you on next day delivery. Visit cyberpowersystem.co.uk.
All of those features I've just gone through add up to a pretty pleasant gaming and typing experience. Typing feels good, although that brittle feel that I mentioned a second ago does get a bit harsh after a bit, especially when you compare it to some softer feeling keyboards like the Keychron Q1 Max that I use daily. I come to a similar conclusion when thinking about the gaming experience with the 1.3 Pro. It's just okay. It's not overly bad, but it doesn't blow me away either. The 8000Hz polling rate is a nice inclusion that will definitely help with making the keyboard feel responsive, but other boards with Hall effect features perform far better when specifically talking about gaming performance. One good thing that will appeal to a lot of you is the lack of any sort of software at all. There's not even a web interface to customize the 1.3 Pro. Everything is done with a combination of keyboard shortcuts and by using the 4 dip switches found on the bottom of the case. Everything from changing the RGB effect and speed, changing the polling rate and recording macros is done with keyboard shortcuts. I won't go through all of them because this will turn into an hour-long tutorial, but there is a lot of options there. They can be a bit overwhelming to begin with, and referring to the manual will become a bit of a habit if you pick one of these keyboards up. But once you've had some use with the board, they start to become second nature. The 4 dip switches on the bottom handle changing stuff like the Windows lock status, the vendor ID, and switching some stuff that will make the 1.3 Pro more natively Mac OS orientated. It's fully compatible with an Apple machine with a little bit of tinkering. Overall, the controls feel very nerdy, which I like, and not having any software running on your PC is great, but simplifying them a bit would help Ducky keyboards as a whole appeal to more people, in my opinion. For example, making a toggle switch for Windows and Mac modes is easier than turning the keyboard over and flicking a ridiculously small switch. There we have it then. That was my full review of the Ducky 1.3 Pro Nazca line, one of the latest boards from Ducky featuring their Quack mechanics. Overall, it's a decent keyboard, it's well built, it feels and sounds pretty good, and it isn't astonishingly expensive when compared to some boards from brands like Razer and Corsair. But it's not without its shortcomings. The all-plastic construction falls short when compared to some full or partly metal built boards from the competition and at around the same price point. And the exclusively onboard controls work well but are confusing to begin with. It's a sort of middle of the road feeling summing up this keyboard. It's okay, but it's nothing special. And that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like down below if you did. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep up with the latest PC gaming news and reviews. And if you go down below the video, you'll find links to our merch store. And then in the description, there'll be links to our Discord server, our Patreon page, or our website if you want to check any of that out. Anyway, guys, I've been Matt. That's been the 1.3 Pro NAS Cologne from Ducky. I'll speak to you in the next one. Look after yourselves. See you later.